beginning of the winter season. Let's get going. First thing I need to do is do a gear check. So let's get started. First thing is base layer, Under Armour. Make sure your base layer is thermal even when wet, because if you go into some water, you want to make sure you can still be fine for at least a few hours. Next layer is the fleece. Fleece is okay. And finally, the last layer is the shell. So that's the first layer of clothing. As for kites, all kites are kites. A peak is not a snow kite. It's not a water kite. Kites can do anything. So don't get a snow kite. Get a regular kite, because all kites are snow kites and all kites are water kites. And my kites, good for one, good for two. I just checked them. They're all good. Last, for clothing, gloves, wet like they should be, because I've been riding. Protection. Knee pads, they're still good. Elbow pads, those are good. Hip protectors, these are hot hip pads with a workman's line line harness, and this is an old spreader bar that just slides right into it. This has worked really well for me for protection. But for protection, use as much as you need and no more to feel safe, because there's nothing worse than being scared to throw down. So make sure you have enough protection that you can ride as hard as you want. For the helmet, still good. Goggles are good. Balaclava for the neck. Boots. And you can have ski or snowboard, whatever you prefer. And these fail the gear check. They are just about had it. These will have to be replaced this year. Regular snowboard for snow. And the second snowboard, ice carver ice board for ice and mixed conditions. Blades are good. Blades are good. Make sure you get both heel and toe side. I won't go into why, but trust me, you want the full set. There's nothing worse than slipping out. All right, my tripod for my GoPro. All right, that's about had it. Make sure for your GoPro, when you're on the ice or snow, you still use the floaty, because these things are hard to find when you knock them over and run into them. They're under the snow. This helps. I also sometimes will put a little flag onto them, a real trailer, so that's easier to find. Ice picks. You fall in the water, you put these around your neck or in a pocket, and then you use them to get out. Isn't that right? We use these to get out of the water in case we fall in to the bathtub. And you could use those the other day. So make sure you throw these in the water. Make sure they float, because when you fall through the ice and you get these out, a lot of times you're gasping for breath and you're not real organized and you may drop them. If they float, you just grab them and you're still good. You don't need these to get out from the water if you fall through, but again, you ride with as much gear as you can to throw down, and this kind of thing makes me feel a lot safer, and I can always throw down harder with it. Ice pick, I have an 8-inch and tape measure so I can tell everyone else what the ice thickness is. That's it for my equipment this year. And if you're setting up your own equipment, remember, don't be afraid to use more safety equipment than someone else, because you want to ride as hard as you can. And there's no worse feeling than being afraid you're going to hurt your knee because you don't have knee pads or whatever gear.